Okay, guys, with the keg out, make sure that the gas cylinder is shut off. The valve is shut off. If you have a check ball lifter, go ahead and insert that into your coupler, and then you're going to want to engage the probe on the coupler to allow for flow. Next, grab the spanner wrench and remove the faucet. Remember, it is reverse threaded, so righty-loosey. At this point, I go ahead and disassemble the faucet. First, you're going to screw off the knob. Under that, you're going to have the collar. Screw that off. Below that is going to be the lever bonnet. You can go ahead and screw that piece off. And then the whole knob lever comes out like this. And then you can get the shaft assembly to fall out. All right, I grab all these faucet parts and I go ahead and put them into the bowl that the cleaning solution is going to be draining into. We can move over to creating the solution now. So I got the water running to get hot water. Okay, we want to take about a tablespoon of the solution or cleaner concentrate and put it in the bottle, or about a cap full. And then take the bottle, and once that water gets good and hot, you can go ahead and fill up your bottle to create the BLC beer line cleaning solution. All right, now we're going to put the top of the pump on, and so you just insert like such. And I actually hold the pump and screw the bottle to tighten the lid down to it. Carry that back over to the kegerator. All right, now we're going to hook it up to the shank on the beer tower. Be sure to put the O-ring in there to make a nice tight seal. And then remember, we're going to tighten by going left, so it's lefty-tighty. Okay, grab that spanner wrench and go ahead and snug it up. And now we can proceed to pump the solution into the line and push out any existing beer product that's in there. So give it a handful of pumps and you will see that it starts to push out whatever was in there. Wait for it to appear to be all cleaner in there. Maybe get a couple more pumps to get it going. Feel confident about that. And when you get to the point where you're certain that it's full of cleaner, you can go ahead and close the probe. With the probe closed, you've begun your soak. And so while you're soaking, I go ahead and take this opportunity to run over and clean those faucet parts. So I take the brush that's supplied with the kit, and I just go through each of the individual components of that faucet, scrub them, check them, see if the O-rings and seals, everything are still intact. Just go ahead and give them a good scrub. And while the line is still soaking, I go ahead and do the same thing with the coupler itself. I'll run over there with that cleaning solution in the brush and just go over the coupler itself. Anything that's going to touch the beer product, make sure it's good and clean. Check the O-rings and seals, make sure everything looks good on that end too. Now, how long you let your line soak depends on how dirty they are. So I clean mine between every keg or so it's about 15 minutes on the soak. So while it's soaking, I'm going to go ahead and rinse the faucet parts, right? We want to rinse them real good. We're using cold water now. Get a good rinse. We want to get all the chemical off of that. And as you start rinsing, you start with the faucet body. And then we're just going to reverse the order as we put it back together. And so we're going to put the shaft assembly in next and line up. There is the hole in it that you're going to put the knob lever down into and should fit into that. So when you move it back and forth, it'll push that assembly. And then you put the bonnet back on, right? That's going to hold that lever in. And then next comes the collar. You see it got good movement there, so it's together proper. Good rinse there, and collar goes on. And then lastly, the knob, if you got a little knob like this, if you got a more ornate handle, that you put that on probably last. And just make sure you got a really good rinse on it. Okay, now we're going to go back and rinse the line itself. So we're back with cold water, and I'm going to fill up the jar. Take that back over to the kegerator where the pump is already hooked up, and just screw it back on with the cold water. And go ahead and start flushing this through. So give it a few pumps, pressure will take over, it's going to start pushing it through. You'll see, as long as you got the probe open and you have the stop ball pin, pushed in there, it'll start coming out as we have flow. And you just periodically give it a few more pumps, just to push the nice cool water through it for a rinse. Once the bottle is empty, you go ahead and take it back to the sink, fill it up again, and repeat the process. Just want to make sure we get all the beer cleaner out of the line. And I go ahead and do that process 3 to 4 times. And then once you get done with all the rinse out there, you want to go ahead and make sure that the coupler has a good rinse too, with cool, clean water. Check the seals, O-rings on the probe, and just kind of dry it off there. And if the interior of your cooler is clean, you can go ahead and start to put stuff back together. So I'm going to put my bottom rack back in there. We can go ahead and replace the CO2 cylinder. We'd replace the keg. Hold off on attaching the coupler to the keg, though, until we get the faucet back on. So spanner wrench back out, righty-loosey to take the pump off. Check and make sure that the washer comes out too. Okay, I always check the shank there to make sure there's no debris and the seal on the faucet. This one has a spring, so I'm going to put that spring back in there before I put the faucet back on. And then it's lefty-tighty, reverse threaded to put the faucet back on. Grab a spanner wrench and snug it up. Check the action on it. Okay, now you can give her a final wipe down. Give it a nice clean polish. Bright Shine is a stainless steel cleaner that we like. It really makes it look sharp. And I put the drip tray back on, and you're done.